Click the right button, Mr. Tim. Hello, welcome to DeWitt on this wonderful Sunday evening. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, I got a crap load of stuff all over the table here just to show you how much is involved in building one of these little droids. I've been printing like a mad banshee all week, all week. So let's get over here and see who's on and say hello to everybody. There we go. So let's see who was here first. Jerry was here first. Good on you, Jerry. Hello, Jerry. And hello, another CG. And I read that, and man, I hope you can make it, but you know, in between runs. But don't you have a phone you can just carry back and forth? Hey, Clown Hammer. And there's John Kurtz. John K is here, I'm going to say. And let's see who else is showing up here. Another Andy Visley is showing up here. Hello, Andy from Virginia. William Nelson is here. And that's it so far. 13 people watching. A few people have spoken up in chat, and that's all I can say hi to. But I'll just say hi to everybody else that's out there. Let me go ahead and Techno Billy, good day. Let me go ahead and check my audio, make sure I am hearing. I am hearing myself. Good, good, good. That's always a good thing when I can hear myself. So, as I said, last week, if you tuned in, first of all, let's get this out of the way. At the top of the chat, right up in this corner over here, you know where it is. There is a link pinned to the Polymaker giveaway form. Go ahead and enter that to win some Polymaker filament. And you too might be able to print something in this beautiful Galaxy Red. This is the Hedgehog Makes Galaxy Red filament. It is beautiful. So you too could win, and you could get yourself a roll of this Galaxy Red filament and print yourself something amazing in it. And if the Galaxy Red's not your cup of tea, you could win. You could buy, let's see. I got to go get the name of the other filament because I totally forgot. Give me a second here. I think I have another roll of it over here because I know I brought in a couple of them. Yeah, this one yes, here it is right here. This is the white filament. Well, okay, this is the white PLA or panchroma, if you want to call it, that I used for this build, which is what my droid head is made out of. All the internal white parts that are going to be contacting with the motor, I made out of PETG for the sole purpose of getting them stronger. But my droid guy, my little headlights, and a few other little parts are printed with the Panchroma Celestial White, it's called. It's got little flecks of, it's almost like it's hard to say unless you see it, but it's Celestial White. So wanted to give that a shout out too. Everything else is just sort of some random filament. No, it's not random filament, but anyways, go ahead and enter that Polymaker draw, and you too can get yourself some great Polymaker filament. So the Ranch Kid is here. Indie Nation is here as well. Hello, hello. John says it looks like I have some parts there. Yes, I do, John. I do. You're back from the apricot. Good. And yes, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there. Yes, happy Mother's Day. I happen to be a mother lover, so hey, we have a mother here, and she had a great Mother's Day today. I know she did. Who else? Let's see. Did I miss any other of these comments here? SBC3D is here. Hello, hello. Okay, so yeah, so there's a lot of parts here. These are hard to see in the camera because they're all white, but trust me, there's a lot of nice printed parts here for the droid. If I flip over to the overhead, you get a better look at the white ones because they show up a little bit better here. So a lot of these white parts, as I say, a lot of these ones are PETG because they need to be withstand a bit of pressure, if you want to put it that way. But then some of these are some like this are getting in the camera. Whenever I go over my head, some like this are the Celestial White, which is just beautiful. So, and as I said, I'm lazy. I don't want to paint. So you'll see that I have done a lot of painting in the slicer for these pieces, right? So there we go. And yeah, so we have got a total so far. Oh, and then I'll show you the main body. So when we took it apart last week, I told you that we had printed the main body, for instance, in several pieces. Turns out the initial print for this was 6 pieces. This is one piece. This one particular piece here now is printed in Bamboo Labs PETG carbon fiber, and it is called, I have a roll right here. It is called, oh, I forget the name of the gray I said it was. I mentioned it yesterday. But it's PETG carbon fiber. I believe it's not slate gray, it's something gray. Anyways, that's okay. We did that and that. We have some bamboo PLA silver that we used for some of these parts, and we noticed we did paint some of these parts as well. So to show you here, we got some nice silver and red for these little add-on parts that were not on the other droid. Now this particular part, I have to do another modification yet in order to put him on. And then he has a couple engine rockets that go on the side of him. And again, we painted these in the slicer. So we have red, white, and silver for this one, and then red and silver for this one. And it's another sort of a new part. We painted this part. So this is the Hedgehog Makes Galaxy Red and the Celestial White. Okay, so we have some nice color combinations here for this build. And then we have the new front bumper, which is printed out of the PETG carbon fiber gray, and then that's PETG white. I couldn't use a Celestial PLA because, of course, PLA and PETG are not going to stick nicely. So that's what we did with that one. And then silver for a lot of the other parts. We got some multicolored greebles here. So we have some silver, red, and white greebles that we're going to be using on him. So just because I did not want to paint this guy after the fact, that's my story. Fresh out of the store, milk white. Exactly. Hey, Tulsa Skin. Hello. Who else? One Raz is showing up. Let's see who else showed up here. And then we'll get on. We'll get on with things. Gorilla Biscuits. Hello, hello. And I think that's it so far. No supports. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, well, I'll show you one thing. I have one little issue. No supports for 99%. No supports. No, absolutely not. Nope. Okay. If I missed you, forgive me, but I think I said hi to everybody. But anyways, yeah, no supports. Now, what you're looking at here on the table is probably so far combined over 120 hours of printing. And again, this is the base plate that holds the electronics, and it's what's going to hold the wheels, the tracks, and the drive. This is one solid piece versus printing it in 3 pieces last time. Okay, one solid piece, and we added in the slicer hole for the on-off switch. So far, this guy has been my longest print. 44 hours for the body, which is the Celestial White, PLA Silver, PLA Blue, painted in the slicer. So we'll get a closer look at this. So we did some painting in the slicer. And yeah, 44 hours print time. Can you imagine how much that's going to be, how much time I'm going to save when I get the tool changer in? But I don't have the tool changer, so I did this. Now, no supports other than this one. I have yet to figure out how I'm going to get this supports out, because this printed this way, okay? And so there was a few supports on the side, but then it did, I could have turned the supports off and could have just bridged the top. But the last time I did that, it's a long bridge and it wasn't that pretty looking, and I have to drill another hole in here, and I had to drill through all that bridging material, and I just didn't like the interior look of it, even though you never see the interior look, but that's just the way I am. So I used a support material. So this is theoretically a 4-color print. The blue, the silver, the white, and the support material. Okay, so that's why it was a 44-hour print, and it had, I think close to 16 to 2,000, something like that, tool swaps, or filament swaps. Had a lot of poop. I even kept the prime tower. I want to weigh that, because that prime tower is pretty heavy. That this thing created. It's quite the prime tower. Nice colorful prime tower anyways, well, for the 4 colors, but it's a pretty heavy prime tower. So I want to weigh that and see what that ended up coming out like. But yeah, so the base of this, like the bottom, it released beautifully because it's got the PLA support material. But I just have to figure out, I have to kind of get in there with something and break it because I don't want to end up breaking these arms up here. So I will figure out how to get that support out, but that's the body. And then I'm going to go through later tonight. I'm going to ask you guys, because I haven't decided on what head I want to put on them yet. So that's something we're going to look at. Because there was 8 or 9 different heads to choose from. I narrowed it down to a few, but basically what's going to happen is all the heads fit on the body. So here we go. So all the heads fit on the body. So obviously this head is too ugly for it, but I don't want to print the same head because I want to do a couple different ones. Maybe I'll do a couple different heads because they're really interchangeable, right? So he can have a different personality every single day if I wanted him to. So there we go. I've been testing Snapmaker U1 for the last 2 weeks, and it's really impressive tool changer. Awesome. I've got the Creator 5 coming in, so it'll be interesting to see how that works. It's got some good reviews on it so far, so. Okay. Jerry says help. You need help, Jerry? What's going on? Long nose wire cutters. That's what I'll end up using. You okay there, Jerry? Help, help. Okay, so we're going to start with putting the drive track together. So is what we'll start with. So I printed it out so I don't have to keep switching screens over, but Michael Badley has some great instructions, assembly instructions and electronic instructions on this. I can pretty much wing most of it, but I'm going to go along with these just to make sure I don't skip a step. I tend to have a habit of skipping steps sometimes, so that's where the water-soluble support material would have been good. Yeah, oh, of course. Yeah, I don't have any of that. I find it expensive, and that's a perfect case for it. But that'll come out. I just have to get in there and crack it out. We'll work on that a little bit after. So for now, I'm going to grab a box lid. Let's invent ultrasonic breakdown supports. That would be cool. Okay, I'm just going to grab a box lid and throw a few things out of my way in here. Oh, the tracks, look. I did assemble the tracks off screen because believe me, it's a boring thing, but 30 pieces altogether for the tracks to go together. So we printed 60 pieces in red TPU. So we decided we're going with red tracks. So the tracks are all printed, and the red tracks are gonna, contrast nicely with the red filament that we use for some of the body parts. And unofficially, we're calling it the DeWittmobile. But officially, don't know what we're going to do yet. So I'm going to be open to naming this guy. So there we go. Let me throw some parts down here that we're not going to need right away. I just wanted to spread them all out to show you what was involved in this. And then we won't need we will need that part eventually. We can put this down here. I just need a bit of room to work here, and that should be good right now. There we go. But I wanted to show you the large number of parts that was involved in making this guy. So, okay. So let's go ahead and get to the page where we need to be. And we're going to assemble the main drives first. Okay, so this makes sense, that makes sense. Now the main drives I'm doing now, I'm using larger motors. The updated files, when I went in to download the updated files to print, they did include the files for these larger motors. So I'm going to be using a larger motor. So he's going to be faster, basically, is what it is. Higher power motors, same voltage, but it'll be a faster droid. So, yeah, there we go. Okay, we got 26 people on there. Let's just get building. Don't forget, hit the like button if you do like it. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and go ahead and enter the Polymaker draw. The link is pinned at the top of the chat. So first thing we do, and I did one of these in advance, is we just assemble the motor casing. So basically the motor casing, all that's involved in that is we have these larger motors. Let me move, I got so much paper here, hang on. Move that out of the way. Let's get this camera going. Here we go. So basically we have our motor, and then we have these two printed, again out of PETG motor mounts, and we just use 4 M3 by whatever depth they were that I use. I think they're like 6s, screws to hold the motors in place. And then we have the flange, the motor drive gear, which the flange, I believe is called, is screwed into that with 4 small screws. I don't know what those are. I ended up using some bamboo screws I had sitting here. Okay, and then that is then with set screws, or what, grub screws, 2 grub screws. Actually, there's 3 grub screws in this. We screw that onto the tip of the motor, like so. So that becomes our motor drives. So I'm going to go ahead and finish assembling this one here. So we got to make sure that we get one of these grub screws on the flat of the motor, and then the other, oh no, there's only 2 on there. I don't know why I thought there was 3. So I'm going to grab that. I need to grab my little wrench where I put over here. And if anybody has any questions, I am guilty, just so you know, of not looking at chat enough. So if you have any questions, I will try and answer them. And if I miss it, just ask it again as I glance over to the chat. Okay. Mother of all motors. Looks like a starter motor. Ah. Okay, so we have a flat there. We'll put that on. And we'll tighten this up. I haven't decided if I want to use... I'm wondering if I should be using some Loctite on these. And I'm thinking maybe I will. Let me see. Do I have Loctite handy? Let me just see here. I should have some Loctite here, because it's not going to come in contact with the plastic. I'm not worried. There we are. I do have a little bit of the red Loctite here, which is the releasable. But I think it's a good idea to put a little bit of Loctite on these grub screws so that these motor mounts don't come loose. So let's do that. Let's grab a little piece of paper or something. Let's see. Actually, I can use the front page of this. I don't need the back of the front page of the instructions. Just to put under here. So we'll just grab the grub screws out and just put a dab of Loctite on them. I think they might even say that in the instructions to use the Loctite on it. Let's see. Not that it matters, but yeah, I'm doing it anyways. Blue is releasable. Oh, I think, yeah, this is blue. It's just a red. It's a red bottle, but it is blue Loctite. Okay, and you don't need much at all on these, so a little bit on there. Okay, and I'll put some on the other one as well. I'll put it on both of the grub screws. Come on. These screws are tiny, tiny, tiny. There we go. Okay, now we'll put this on the motor. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful Mother's Day and a wonderful week. And we'll snug that, and we'll snug this one. And there we go, there's one. Okay, let's pull this one off and do the same with these. Okay. Okie doke. Don't forget, if you just got here and you haven't, go ahead and enter the Polymaker draw. The link, oops, a little too much. The link is at the pinned to the top of the chat. Go ahead and enter. But only enter once, because the rule is, even though you are able to, just because of the way it kind of works, because I don't want everybody to have to sign into to a Google account, you can enter more than once, but if you get caught entering more than once, you get taken off of the possible winners list. And I do check. So fair warning, don't enter more than once. I will catch you. If you've already entered more than once, well, that's too bad. You won't do it again. There's that one. Good. And okay, good. Motor mounts are done. Let's just get that off of there and throw that piece of paper out. There we go. Hey, Chris Mink, how are you, sir? And who else showed up? Who else showed up? That's it. So let's go. For those that did show up and weren't on last week's stream, we are doing we're rebuilding the BR-2U drink droid. So Michael Badley's design. Okay. Okay, first let's fit the motor. Picture on a little motor on the door is not one I use, a standard one. Okay, so I'm just going to read the instructions here. Mainframe, fit the bearings. Okay, so we're going to be taking the motor frames and we are going to, well, first we have to put the motors into the motor frames. So the motors go into the motor frames. So I got to wire them up first. But I want to wire them up. I suppose I can wire. That's what I got to realize. I don't want to do two things twice. So I'm wondering if I should just wire these motors up real quick before I fit them in here. Let's just see. Okay. Yeah, okay, he does mention you can add a little bit of Loctite to the bolts if you're worried about them coming loose, which is fine. Okay. Okay, and then next fit the motor into the frame and note the gear extrudes on one side, and also note the holes on top are slightly off center. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this one's a little different than what's pictured, because what's pictured is the smaller motors and this is the larger motor. So we're going to go ahead and fit these in here with some screws, and the screws I've sorted. They're all over here. Right over here. Here we go. And let's go ahead and get these motor mounts screwed in now. I'm going to use my power driver, my Fantic, which I've left charging all day. So this should have a full charge to it. And with these ones, we are going to use, I believe these are M36s. I tried to sort these out as best I could with size, and I think I did okay. I think these are the shorter ones I need for this. I'm not sure. But I've got lots of screws if I mess these up. I didn't measure them as I took them out of the previous build. So basically the motor's going to go in. The gear is going to stick out a little bit on the side, as he says, but we just line these holes up, and you can't put it in backwards because it won't line up any other way. Let's go ahead with this one. Let's get that started, and we'll just get the rest of these started and then snug them all up on both sides. Hey, Samrat Terrier. Hello, hello. Yeah, you know what, Jerry? Jerry's got a point there. Solder first, because yeah, now with these motors in place like this, I can't really... You know what, Jerry? I think I will. That's, and I did say that, didn't I? But that's a good point, because you know what? I could probably do it, but I would chance melting the plastic a little bit. So yeah, let's solder them first. Okay, let's go grab some wire and solder. Good point, good point. Why make things more difficult, right? Yes, why make things... TJL, WTF, hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Let me just grab some wire, motor wire. We'll just use some of this. Happen to have a spool of red and black wire, which would be fine for the motors. And let me just go grab the solder station. Do-do-do-do, won't be long. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, I'm loving it. Okay, whoops. Don't drop everything off that shelf. There we go. Just about... Just come on, there we go. That, and I need the soldering iron. Here we go. So we'll grab this. Okay, I will borrow the plug from Mr. Bench Power Supply. We'll borrow this plug. And we'll plug this guy in. Here we go. Okay, we need to wet our sponge, so I'll borrow a bit of my drinking water. There we go. And I spilled a bit, of course. Okay, there we go. Put this back, turn the soldering iron on, and we're just going to cut a big length of wire. Stuffed your face, now you're good. There you go. Good job, Clown Hammer. Wire strippers. And I think that's all. Oh, and I'm going to need some heat shrink. Okay, let's grab the heat shrink. And this is just the tip of what we got to do for wiring on this machine. So, but yeah, it's a great idea to do this before I put those motors in. Jerry, thanks for the nudge. And my heat gun. Here we go. For the heat shrink, I'm going to need a heat gun. So here we go. Okay, so we got everything we need to get this going. Okay. So let's cut a random length of wire. And we'll divide that in half. It's going to be way too much wire, but I got lots, and I'd rather have too much and not need it than too little and need it. So put that back down there. Okay. And let's split this wire. Where's my little snippers? Here we are. Here we are. Guess I could put on the overhead camera while I'm doing this. Need to get a wire stretcher. Yeah. Okay, there's one. And here's the other one. There we go. Okay. Let's strip this one. And the black. And the other two. There we go. Okie doke. Let's grab my little helping hands here. That seems a little dark. Why is it? Can I get a brighter light? Let's see if I can get a brighter light on this. That might help. There we go. It's a little brighter. Just another little light source. Remember to place the heat shrink tube before the soldering. Yes, I've been so guilty of that. I have been so guilty of that many times in the past. But thank you for the reminder. I can never be reminded too much about certain things, for sure. So, yeah, let's do that right now. Oh, come on. I swear I'm getting weaker by the year. I think this red... No, I think I'll go a little bit bigger. I think we'll just use the blue. We'll use the blue for it. That'll be fine. Or actually the yellow. Hang on. Or green. Let's just see. I think the green. Yeah, let's use the green stuff. So grab a couple pieces of that out of there for now. Okay. We'll tin these wires first, but let's go ahead and cut these tubes in half. We're going to need 4 of them. Okay. There we go. And let's pull that down. Come on. Like that. And like that. We'll just clamp these guys. We'll get them tinned up. We have to tin the motors too. Don't think I'm going to need any flux on these. I've got a flux pen, but come on. There we go. Okay. We are heated. Where is my solder? Let's get some solder here. I think I cut these too long, but I'll just snip them off after I tin them here. Tin 1. There's the second one. Okay. Those look good. Yeah, I can cut these off a little bit. Probably right about there and right about there. Okay, and then the next two. Near the squeegee sharpener. Squeegee sharpener. Oh, interesting concept. Need some background music while I do this sort of quiet stuff because I feel the need to talk while I'm working because it's so quiet in the background. But you guys could probably have music listening to on your own end too. So, right. You bloody well right. You got a right to say. Okay, come on. Oh, let's just do this. Being stubborn here. Oh. Okay, let's get this one going. Love this soldering iron, by the way. This soldering iron station, it's a Weller. I think they make some of the best. It's made life so easy. Makes life so easy. Okay, we got those done. We'll just shorten them a little bit here. Like that. And like that. Perfect. Okay. I'll throw these little scraps out so I don't end up eating them. Now the motors, we're going to have to tin these a little bit. I think if I just leave that leaning there, we should be okay. Let's see what I can do here. There's one. That should work. Maybe a little more. I need a little more on there. A little bit more. There we go. And there we go. And let's do the other one. Stay there. Stay put. I know you don't want to stay. There you go. There you go. Get this one going. Even though I've done a lot of soldering now with a lot of these different projects, I'm still not the best solderer going. Solderer, is that a word? I guess it's going to have to be. There we go. Hopefully that's going to work. Now, let's see if I can prop this up. Well, that'll stand right on its end there. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to do... Now I guess it doesn't matter which is which. I don't have a positive... Oh, I have an X on that one. And I have an X on that one. So I have a positive... I'm going to put the positive on the X. Doesn't matter because these are reversible motors, obviously. So I'm going to put the red where the X is here. And I'll put the black on the other one. We keep them consistent. Okay. So let's go ahead and get this red one put in. Let's see if I can do this and keep a nice clean solder joint. Whoa. Let's see if I can do this without burning myself. Okay, that looks good. I can pick it up by the wire, nice and strong. And we'll do the black. Yeah, I know some people would say poke it through the hole, but I just solder it onto the side because it's not like these wires are going to be under a lot of pressure. I guess I could poke it through the hole. And there's the black. It's on there. They're both on there really well. Okay, then we can slide the tubing over like so. Okay, we have the tubing slid over. Actually, I can give you guys a little closer view than that. Here, what if I do this? It's a little better. I could do this. There we go. That gives you a little better view of what I'm doing. Tell Maria we said Happy Mother's Day. I will do that for sure, Jerry. She might even be watching right now. Maria, dear, if you're watching, everybody says Happy Mother's Day. There we go. That might be a little better view. So let's get the heat shrink tube. Let's get the heat shrinker out. Let's shrink some tubing. Is it hot? Oh yeah, that's hot. Okay, that should be good. So there's one down. Okay, we'll set this guy up here. And again, the red's going to go to the little plus that's on here. Oh, it looks like an X by there, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to keep it consistent whether it's an X or a plus. I think it's an X, although, yeah, it depends. It's got to be a plus, but there's no negative on the other one. But if you know the positive, you don't need to know the negative, right? Right. Okay, so this one, we're going to hold still here. Steady hand. And that should do it. Good. And then the black. Let's get the black on. And hold still. And that should do it. Okay, let's see. Black's on there good and tight. Red's on there good and tight. And then we'll just give these a power test before we mount them to make sure that I did actually get solder connection. Okay, and we'll shrink these. And for those that have just joined or haven't paid attention, go ahead, pin to the top of the chat. There is a link to enter to win some Polymaker. You're going to get a $35 US gift card or a $40, $45, I believe, Canadian gift card. And anywhere else in the world, you're going to get a free spool of filament. So go ahead and enter to win that draw, which we will be doing in about another hour or so. There we go. Okay, so the motors are done. Oh God, somebody just dropped something upstairs, scared the crap out of me. Oh, my heart can't take that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm going to strip the other ends of these so that I can just test them before I go on too far, and just want to make sure that these motors are actually going to power. Okay, so let's just cut this. In the meantime, we can turn the soldering iron off. I have pretty sure these are going to work fine, but you know, those are famous last words in some cases, right? Okay. Quick strip of this. Quick strip of this. Whoops. Okay, that didn't work. Use the right hole. That's what she said. Okay, there we go, and then we'll just do this one here. Black and right, there we go. Okay. Okay, throw them down. Let's get rid of the soldering station. Oops, we can leave that plugged in. We'll just take the plug out of the back of the soldering station. Let's move this off to the side. Where's my solder? Oh, I put it way over here. Okay, just get this out of the way. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to need that again for a bit. Okay, and the heat gun I can move out of the way. And we'll let's bring the bench power supply in. Plug it in. And these motors are going to be 12 volts. We don't need the wire strippers anymore at this point. Okay. Okay, and I can put that down there. Okay. So let's go ahead and test the motors. Here, let's switch back over here again. So we'll go ahead, make sure we have 12 volts dialed in here. So let's go ahead and make sure, yeah, so we have 12.02 volts. That's good. Okay, we'll hook up the red, and we'll just touch the black, and we have a spinning motor. And then of course if we reverse the charge, we'll have a reverse motor. And let's check this motor out. And let's check this one. And we have power. Okay, motors are good. Okie doke. Always good to double check that before we go too much further. Okay, so now we can go ahead and mount the motors into the frames. And that was a good call, Jerry, giving me that nudge to pre-wire them. So, because that will save a little bit of hassle, little ways down the road for sure. Make sure I get these in the correct way. They only go in one way. That way. Or is it going in this way? Yeah, and actually it's quite impressive. The holes will only line up one way. It'll fit this way, but the holes will only line up this way. So you can't really mess that up. Well, if there is a way to mess it up, leave it to me, I will. But no, you can't really mess that up. Okay, let's get the motors put in. Okay, back to where we were. And right there. Whoops. Okay. An electric screwdriver is going to be your best friend when you're doing a build like this, or any build. Okay, we'll get the other side started and then we'll snug them all up. Yep, quiet chat today. Everybody's just chilling, that's good. And it might be a quiet chat too because Mother's Day, there may not be some people here because it is Mother's Day and mothers are important to celebrate. A lot of people spending time with their mother, having dinner. That's awesome. Better your mother than me. Okay. Okay, we'll check all these. They all seem pretty good. This one here, that seems very loosey-goosey. Let's see what's going on here. That hole almost seems, or that screw, is that screw too long, too short? Let's try a different screw. Let's try a little longer one. It just didn't seem to bite too well in this hole here. That's a little better. Okay, so that one is there mounted nicely. Nice and snug. Get the other one in. And again, only goes in one way. So we've got to come up from behind here. And this is going to slide in just like so. Okay. Okay. Huh. Oh, I think that bottom one needs to be a little longer. I think that's the issue. Yeah, let's try a little longer screw. Let's see. This is probably going to be too long. Let's see if it is. Let's see. Oh no, that's probably good. I may have to, I'll probably switch out those other two for those longer ones. Yeah, I think that's what I got to do. There we go. Yeah, this bottom hole needs a longer screw for sure. And I could look at the instructions, but this is a different mount than what's showing in the instructions. This is a modification. There we go. That works. Okay. Yeah, I'll switch out the other ones on that other one because I think they were just too short. They weren't biting the plastic enough. And another one here. Okay, let's switch these ones out, these bottom ones. Much better. There we go. There we go. Okay, motors are mounted, as you can surely see. Okay, I'm listening, but you're upside down behind the type TV computer cabinet, making all the wires kitten safe. Have a couple of new kittens arriving at the end of the week. So many cables. Ah, Technobilly, awesome. Congratulations on your new family members coming in. That's cool. Okay, now we need the bearings. So we'll do one at a time here. This is where it gets fun. So we have I'm just going to make sure that everything's going to fit. We have a bearing here and a bearing on the other side. Okay. And then we have a drive wheel gear here that basically is going to go on here, and the gears on this are going to mesh with the gears on this. So like something like that. Okay. So just like so is how that whole thing is going to operate, right? Okay. And then on the other side, we put another wheel. And this is where we use those long, freaking long screws to screw this in. And this is where I brought a bar of soap down to use as a lubricant, because we are going to be putting these screws in. And these are, let me get a measurement for you. These particular screws are, whoa, dude, these are 50 millimeter long screws. So they are pretty long, 50 millimeters right there. Look at that. And we know from doing these before, and Jerry will attest to the fact is how hard these things are to screw in. And it was suggested that we use, and I believe the instructions even say that, held together with, you guessed it, M3 bolts. The holes go straight through, so 250 miller bolts per wheel go through the shaft. Actually, use a little grease in the bolt threads if it's tight. Watch out for the indent. So he says use a little grease. I had a tip that said use a little bit of soap, and the soap seemed to work well. So we're going to soap these gears up. Doesn't do any harm to the soap. So we'll soap these up just like so. Just make sure I don't lick my fingers. I haven't said any bad words, so I don't have to wash my mouth out with soap. Okay, and then we'll make sure that the bearings are in place here, which they are. Okay, on here. We'll line up these holes. And let's get this started. These take a while to go in. And I don't know if that power driver is going to be have enough torque to do this, but let's just see what happens. Oops, I am lined up. Let's do it this way. Let's go like this. Let's come straight down on it. I got to give it a little bit of pressure to get it started, and I'm going to start the two, and I'm going to sort of do them in evenly. Stay lined up with the hole. There we go. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to start the second one. We're going to lube up the second one here. Okay. And the screws smell nice too, with baby soap. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to get these going. And these are going to take a while to get in. And we're going to do them in sort of evenly. Great torque on this little driver. I'm at the maximum torque setting. Okay, and more here. And you want to hold the wheels because they will turn. Okay, that one's in. And that one's in. There we go. So those are all the way in. Look at that. There we go. All the way in. This will be a good little test for this because I got to do that 3 more times. It'll be a good little test for this little driver to see how long those batteries last. So there's the front ones, and now the back ones. Pretty much the same thing, except we don't need. We do need bearings, but we don't have a drive gear in here, so we just put it in as is. Bearing and a bearing, and we'll put it in the same side. Okay, like so. Come on, don't you dare do that to me. Get in there, bearing. There we go. Now that'll lay a little flatter because I've got the one side in. And then we have that, and we're going to do the same thing on this side here. Testing out the battery longevity. Yeah, exactly. Insert clip 2 hours later. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the one thing about a live stream. You got to watch. You're here for everything. At least I put all the tracks together off stream because that's even more boring than this part. So let's lube up 2 of these at once here. And believe me, I tried this last time without lubing the screws. I thought, oh, they'll go in, but they squeak and they make the weirdest noise when you try and stick them in, and the hole is so tight. Don't go there, guys. Okay, there's that one started, and this one. Whoops. Okay, and now let's try a little experiment here. Let's see if this driver is any quicker than this driver. Let's just see. Let's see what the torque's like on this guy. Ah, he's about the same speed. About the same speed. I could pull out the electric drill. Check wheels. Check wheels. How come, Jerry? I got them right on the right side. They're good, and then the tracks will fit on there. That's kind of all caps, so you're kind of yelling at me for some reason. Oh, now I got this bearing loose. There we go. What am I checking for? Tell me, Jerry, what am I checking for before I go any further? Back doesn't need drive wheel. Oh, I know it doesn't, but it goes on the back. It doesn't need the drive wheel, but it's, according to the instructions as well, it is the same wheel. Even though it doesn't need a drive wheel, it's still going to turn the thing. You still need the same clearance on the wheel in order for the track to be able to fit. Yes, it doesn't need gears on the teeth, I know, but that's what you use. I didn't see a different file, and if you look at the instructions, let me see if it shows a little better picture here. But there is, just want to put you guys all to rest. I know what I'm doing, and I took the other one apart, and it was the same. But if you look at the little image here, if you look at the image, it's the blue. So you can see, okay, there's a drive gear on that one, and if you look at the back, if you look carefully, you can see there's a drive gear on the back one as well. Even though you only need the drive gear on the front in order for the motor to turn it, the drive gear does go on both sides, because there is not a blank one per se to put on the back. It's just the same one. It just saves having to have another part. Yeah, I remember when I took the Droid apart that, yeah, it's the same wheel for front and back. Whoops. There we go. You know what? That's cheating. I was going to check and see if this battery would last on this driver. So let's use this one on the Fantic. But I have that other one for backup if this battery doesn't last. Simplicity, yeah. Well, in that way you can't mix up the wheels. Well, that's not what I mean, but you know. Okay, there's that one done, and that one done. There we go. So there we go. Other than the wires clicking on it, which is fine. There we go. Back one's done. Front one's done for that one. Okay. Now we just rinse and repeat for this one here. Bearing and a bearing. I got my bearing straight, anyways. Ah, get it. I got my bearing straight. You should have kept your old one. Surprised you threw it out, but I'm a hoarder. Nah. I wasn't happy with the old one. I didn't like the color scheme, so this interlocks with the gear again right here. Perfect. And turns fine. Yep. Okay, so no problems there. Then we put a cap on it, and we lube up a couple more screws. With baby soap. Gentle on the skin, yet effectively cleans. Johnson's baby soap. Sounds like an ad. I am an ad. And this is not a sponsored video by Johnson's. And we'll just lube up all four since we're here. Since we got to lube them up anyways, let's just lube up all four. There we go, and one more. I haven't tried the grease, but I don't remember who, but somebody on the last build said use soap. And it seems to be working fine. So now we can put the soap away. There we go. I'll keep it handy here in case I do got to wash my mouth out with it. Hopefully not. And let's get this started. Okay, and number 2. And here we go. And make sure you have a good hex key tip. What you don't want to do is strip one of these screws partway in. You definitely don't want to strip one of these screws partway in. Okay. And there we go. That one's done. Nice. Okay. And the next one. So a bearing and a bearing and drive gear on the same side and the cap. There we go. And 2 more lube screws. So far I'm impressed with this driver. It's not even getting warm really. Okay. Can you imagine having to screw these in by hand, especially with my bad arm? Oh, that would be painful. How many rolls of filament did it take to print this? I would say that probably so far, I haven't gone, oh, the biggest print was the body. The biggest print so far was this part, and this was about 400 kilograms of 400 grams of filament. So about half a spool for that. So I would say that I am under 3 spools so far. Maybe 3 spools if I add it all up, because I've been using white, I've been using celestial white, I've been using PETG carbon fiber, I've been using the red, but by far the heaviest use is the PETG white and the PETG carbon fiber gray. So I'm going to say I'm at around, in total, oh, I can't forget the waste on this one. I'm going to say between 3 and 4 spools at the absolute most, probably under 3. So, definitely. Okay. This little thing is going to make it through all 4 of these 50mm screws. So 400 millimeters of screws on this charge, so that's good. Oh, 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 oh. We're stuttering. Oh, we're sputtering. We're sputtering. Let's see if I can get it to finish. Oh, it will. We sputtered. Oh, come on. Oh, maybe it was just my finger. I think I just had my finger falling off the button. That's what it was. Oh, okay. No, we're fine. Hang on. We still got lots of charge left in that. Yeah, done. Good. I thought I was sputtering. I think my finger was slipping on and off the power switch. There we go. So that's done. And that's done. Now we can throw the tracks on just for cosmetic, just to see what it looks like. Yeah, let's see. Oh no, we got to put a couple other pieces on here first. So we need to put the rod holders. So these are held in place with M316 countersunk. Fit the motor into the frame. The rod plates then fit on top and the bottom of the frame, and then 3 holes should line up. Okay, so now these ones are a little bit different again, because we got some fenders going on here, and I think this is here for holding some wiring too for this. So so normally these frames, I'll just show you on the overhead. That little bump out was not on the old ones. And that little bump out is just on the new one, and it's on the modified one with the upgraded motors. So they're there for a reason, for the upgraded motors. So, and these will only go on one way. So I just want to make sure. So that sticks out the side of the motor. So that should stick out. No, so I want to make sure I get this right. So No, there is no bottom frame on this. That's the interesting thing. There is no bottom frame on this, so I don't need this. So this only seems like this only uses the top. So that seems like this goes on just like that right there for the rods, and the rods are going to poke through there. Okay, so we're not using these. I printed these off of the old files just thinking that needed, because on the old ones you did need some frames on the bottom, but it looks like they might have built it in to this one. So, okay, interesting. So this will take these screws. So again, the instructions are not referring to the new motor mount I'm doing right now. So these instructions are kind of no good to me at this point, right at this point in time. Okay, but this is obvious the way that this goes on. It's going to go on this way because of the way the holes line up. This makes no sense to go on this way, so it's going to be going on this way. We don't want to tighten it down yet because leave the 6 upper ones loose as they will fit the 6mm rods. Okay, so we're just going to put these ones in loosely on the top here. Okay. Don't drink and screw drive. Overheating. No, I think my finger was just slipping off of the button. Okay, let's put these in right lined up. There we go. Okay, but we're not going to tighten these. And 16 countersunk. M3 by 16s. No, these are definitely not going to be M3 by 16s. These are M3 by... How big are these? These are... Oops. These are M3 by 8s. The old one, I think, used the 16s. They may have gone straight through. I don't know. Anyways. Okay. Yeah, this build uses a lot of hardware. Not as many screws as a Voron does, though. Okay, there's those. Now we'll come on this side and we'll do this one. There we are, right there. And this part of the build doesn't need to be painted or anything at all, because all of this stuff that you're seeing right here is all hidden underneath the chassis. Or chassis, whatever you want to say. Okay, there's those ones. Okay, so now, after those are in, the wheels are... Oh, okay, that was supposed to do that first, then put the wheels on. Big deal. Sue me. Okay. So let's go on to the next page. Now the tracks. Let's grab the tracks. I put them in the box. We'll grab the tracks. And I'm going to need some pins. Where did I put my pins? Did I put the pin jar away? I did. So when you're doing this, this is something you got to source too. You have these pins. Whoa. And these pins are what are used to assemble the tracks, the 30 pieces on each side of the track with these little pins. So I'm just going to need 2 more to put these tracks together. And I have, again, I bought a bunch of them. There's tons of them in here. I, for some reason, have brass ones and silver ones. So, penny nails. Okay, so now, this is just a simply matter of lay the track down, put it on, bring the track forward and stretch it out. We'll get that one pin started. There we go. Like so. Then we'll bring it over and we will push. We will push. That's hard on the hand, so let's do what I did to put them together. I just go down on the tabletop and we push the pin in like so. And I'll just take my little driver, even the tip of this, and just push that pin right in. There we go. So there is one of the tracks. Now, we'll do the other one, and then we'll see how, make sure the tracks are turning fine. Okay, so we'll put this down, lay the track down, like so. We'll come in with a pin, like so. Okay, and then we will stretch it out and come on. There we go. And I'm just going to put that down. Many different ways you could accomplish that, but whatever's hard, whatever's easiest on your fingers. And there we go. There's the other track in. So what we'll do is we will let's put some power to these tracks carefully. Now, we're going to do this strategically because this could hurt because these are going to be fast. So I'm going to hold this by the, let's just, yeah, see, okay, so let's see if I can perch this on something. If I perch this on this, like this, let's just see. Whoa, dude. Maybe if I perch it on this. Hang on. There, and if I perch this on top of this, there, that might work. Ready? Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah, that kind of shows you how fast this thing is going to be, how fast these tracks will move around. Actually, let's try this again, just because this is fun. If I do this and if I actually hold this now, watch, here we go. Ready? That is fast. Hang on, one more. Whoa, okay, no more. No more. It works. I just want to test the other one. All in the name of science. Okay. All in the name of science. Let's test this other one. Okay. You're good. And you and let's see. Okay, now we gotta hold that down with the fingers. And here we go. Yep, we're good. That is like, I can't tell you how much faster that's going to be than those small little motors. But there we go. There's our drive system almost ready. Oh, that was fun. That is great. Okay. Get the Band-Aids ready, says. Make sure you push the pin down using the kitchen tabletop. Oh yeah, right. You should see my bench. This is a solid hardwood bench. It's pretty cool. Okay, now that that's out of the way. So basically, for those that haven't seen this, the tracks are made up of, see that black piece, are made up of 30 of those pieces held together with those pins. That's basically what it is. And I just decided on red tracks because I have a red, sort of red and gray and white theme. And because I got red fenders, and I thought I have a lot of red TPU, so I thought, what the heck? Okay, so the next step is with the base. So normally this thing prints in 2 or 3 pieces. We didn't do it. We printed it in 1 piece. Okay. Then there's the 4 dog bone connectors, blah. We don't have to worry about all that because we have bigger printers now than we did 4.5 years ago. Okay, so next we take, now we're going to take our end caps. So this comes over here. We take these little guys. I don't even know what the names of these things are, so that's why I'm calling them these little guys. And we have our fender doomer thingies here. So that goes on after the fact. So let's make sure I get this done right. So here, let me switch to this guy for you again. Let me make this a little bigger because I'm zoomed in a little too close here now. There we go. Okay. So we have these guys, which basically hold the whole thing onto the frame like so. So we have our rods. These are 6mm rods. Let's pull one out of here. Here we go. So these rods are going to go through this hole in here that we just, with that plate we created. Okay, they're going to go through there. That's kind of silly. Why? You know what? That's kind of silly that they had me put the tracks on first. I'm going to pop that track off because, and you can guess why right now. And I think I recall this happening last time too. You don't want to put the track on first. So it's easy to pop the track off. We just poke a little thing through the hole here and we just remove one of these pins like so, and the track will come off because we need access to these 6 screws to tighten the rods on. So yeah, I'm gonna, and I remember this from last time. Yeah, don't put the tracks on first. Okay, so yeah, because we need access to these screws. Where's my hand drivers I want to use for this one? Because I just need to loosen this one off a little bit. Okay, and loosen this one off. And loosen this one off. Because I need to be able to slide this rod through. Like so. Okay, and then the rod goes through one of these guys here. And then the second rod yeah, exactly, Wiki Central. And I just followed the instructions and it, well, the funny thing is, okay, he talks about in that previous one, okay, and again, this is why sometimes, yeah. But anyways, yeah, and now he shows the images without the tracks on, so that's okay. Maybe I messed that up. So we put these through here like so. And then these rods go through. Let's make sure of which is going to be the front. I don't think it matters which is front or back at this point in time because this is sort of an ambidextrous piece, if that makes sense. So these rods will then slide all the way through here and here, like so. Right out the other side like so. Okay. Now we'll grab the other, where's my other, did I not take it out of the box? My other end cap. Did I drop? Oh, right here, right in front of me. This will go through this on here like so. Okay. That's going to come through like that. Let's pop off. Let's go ahead and take off one of these tracks here. Take this track off. Okay. Okay, let's get the track off. There we go. And then this is going to go through here. Yeah, I got to loosen those off again. That's a little bit tight. Where'd I put it? Right here. So just back these off a little bit. But hey, you guys all know that I make the mistakes so that you guys out there don't make the mistakes. So there we go. And that goes through like that and like that. And that just kind of sits just like that. Okay, so that is in place. Okay, now should there be a spacer between that? That's what no, there's no spacer showing between that. So those just sort of, yeah, there's just a tiny, tiny little gap in there. If I get that wire out of the way, there's a tiny gap in there that's going to allow those things just to sit freely. And the rods just kind of go right to the end. But I want to leave a little bit of a gap in here so this isn't rubbing on this. Oh, you know what I'm missing? Ah, of course I'm missing some washers. I'm missing these pieces. Okay, I thought there was something different that I was missing. So these pieces go on here and on here, which limit how far this can go in. Ah, that's better. Okay, that's better. That's what we have these little washers, little spacers for. Okay. I forgot about them. See what happens when you don't read instructions? I thought there was a way that the little space between here and here was monitored and, or, you know, kept, and that's it right there with those spacers. So now that we have everything nice and put tightly together, we can go ahead and snug these 6 up. Okay, and we'll make sure everything is snug. Thread the wires in. Yeah, I can do that from the bottom. I can do that from the bottom, I think. We'll find out soon enough. And I'm just letting this go loosey, and I'm going to actually, loosey-goosey in a way, I'm going to snug these by hand. Because I am screwing into plastic, and I don't want to strip these. Okay. Oh, that's hard in the arm. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and make sure these are snug by hand. And basically, it's, I guess, whatever you want to call it, physics. Just the pinching action. These don't have to be super tight because the pinching action is going to prevent these rods from moving, period. Because they are pinched in there pretty snug. Okay. And like that, that, and come on, last one. Come on, don't be difficult. There we go. So now these are on there. That's nice and tight. Yeah, the wires, I can just take the wires now. And I wonder, they've got a little bit of a cable tie thing going on there that's new. So the wires come up through here from the motor, and obviously they've got a cable tie here thing. I guess I can tie the wire up. Oh, okay, so basically if you see in here, it's possible the wires could hit these teeth. So I think they've put this cable tie thing here so I can pull the wire and hold it away from these teeth. So I think that's what we'll do. Let's grab a couple cable ties. Pretty sure that's why they did that. So, because as I say, the orientation of this motor is a little bit different than the other ones. So we should work one of these. Let's just see if that's big enough. Yeah, that's okay. That works there. So now if I were to put this through here, feed it back up to the top. Okay, now I've just got to feed the wire okay, and we'll feed the wire through that cable tie. Back up through the top. Whoops. He says whoops. Okay, back up through the top like that, and then without messing that cable tie up, There we go. There. Now if I put the zip tie, maybe I should have done the zip tie underneath. Yeah, zip tie's got to go underneath. So the zip tie's got to come this way. Okay, for obvious reasons. Up here, down here, because if the nub of the zip tie is up here, it's going to rub on the treads. And then we do that, then we can pull the wire, get the zip tie, pull the wire so it's not hitting anything. Just like that. There we go. Now I got to get some nippers in there. Hey, Earth 2 and Beyond. Earth 2 and Beyond. Who are you? And remind me. Catching up with me at Maker Faire. I'm sorry, remind me. I don't recognize your name. Your screen name, anyways. But I would recognize your real name. And that should be good. Hey, Cyberbob City. Build's going pretty good so far. It's not a fast build, so there we go. That's better. So that's kind of nice and snug in there. And then we just feed the cable through the hole in the side here. And then there is also a hole. If we get my little pliers, there we go. And then there's also a hole in the side here. Actually, it's going to be easier if I just cut this straight now that I'm done the testing. So we'll feed it through this side hole here. And then there's a hole right through here. And that comes straight like that into the frame. And again, more than I need. Gary. Oh, Gary, that's right. Hello, Gary. Okay, I didn't recognize your screen name. Welcome, Gary. That's right, Alex's filament booth. And I was talking to Christoph with you, yes. Okay, so we'll do the same on this side. Cut that off. Man, I got magnet here and all this crap in my pocket keeps sticking to that magnet. Hang on a sec, I got to empty my pocket. I carry my keys and coins in my pocket, and my pocket keeps sticking to the magnet on the side of my bench here. Okay, the other zip tie here, so we're gonna, like I did before, we'll run the zip tie through the bottom, come down the top, make sure we get the wire the wire inside the zip tie. Okay, and it's like a ratchet to get that zip tie down. And we are clear of all, oh, one little pull. Let's get that in there. There we go, and we're clear, and we can do that. Snip this off. Huh. Come on, get in there. Get in there. There you go. And cut you off. There we go. Okay. And we can bring you up top. Like that. And we can feed you through the hole. There we go. Whoops. Both holes. That one and this one. There we go. There we go. Both motor wires are in. And that is for some electronics later. Now, we can go ahead and put the tracks on. Okay. I'll do the draw here soon, guys. If you are here and you haven't, make sure you go to the link that is pinned in the top of the chat. I'm going to put this on so the pins stay on the inside. Yeah, make sure you click that link at the top of the chat. Enter to win some Polymaker. Okay? Make sure you enter. No excuses. Okay. 40 of you on there. I want to see a lot of entries. Okay. There's that. I'm going to make this difficult. I want the... Come on, get in there. Get in the hole. Get in the hole. Come on. I need a thimble. Oh, man, that's hard on the fingers. If I push that through a little more, get that started. There we go. There we go. Almost there. Almost there. There it is. Good. Push that in. Okay, the one track's on. This thing's got a one-track mind. Ah, see what I did there? Yeah, okay. And we'll put this one on this way. This way. And we'll come up here, put this pin in. Come on, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. There we go, got it. There's the tracks, there we go. So there's the base so far. Look at that, there we go. Now the cool part. Let me zoom out here a bit. There we go. Must be a remote controlled mobile base for the... What a brilliant idea. That wouldn't be too hard to make. That would... Oh, let's see. Hang on, hang on. That is almost a perfect fit. That is almost a Oh, you know what? We could extend the drink droid so we have a gotcha pop on the front and a drink dispenser on the back. What a great idea. What a great idea. We'll call it the... we'll call it the Cyberbob Delivery Mobile. 2 Jerry's here. Cool. Okay. With that done, this is the cool part. This is kind of a new design. Let me put the fenders on first. No, the fenders I'm going to have to put the headlights on, so I can do the fenders after, but this is going to go up. So this is my wheel ends. There's 2 holes here. Right here. Oops. Don't do that. There's 2 holes right here. Actually 2 holes right here too. I think the original one, oh, it does have 4 holes. So this goes on, and this is going to screw on with 4 screws onto the side here, and this is going to be like the wheel things. And the new addition is that we have, I guess if you want to call them hubcaps or something like that, that are going to go on, and that screws into these, and that gives us some wheel covers. So that's wheel covers versus fake covers. No, that's a bad joke. Okay, what size screws do I need to put this one in? Let's see. Are these going to be too short? No, these will probably work. Let's just see. See if I can get this in here. Oh, that'll probably work. There we are. No, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like the look of that screw there. So I'm going to use, I've got these screws from Bamboo. These are M3x6 machine screw with a button head. And they're like a silver button head. So I think I'm going to use these screws instead. Fenders, yeah. Both Jerry's, Jerry Martin and Jerry 3DHP Jerry. Okay, so yeah, let's use these ones. Let's see if these are long enough. I think I'd like these better. These might not be long enough. Well, that might be okay. Yeah, that should be okay. And then that way we have a little silver button head screw here holding that on. There, like right here, I'll show you. Little silver button head screw there instead of that black flathead. So I think I like that. So let's do this one. Did I miss the hole? I missed the hole. Where's the hole? There it is. Okay, there's that one. Missed the hole again. How the heck am I missing the hole? How is that possible? Let's loosen this one off. Huh. Let's just see what's going on here. That should automatically line up when I have the two already done. Okay, we're just a little bit off. Okay. There we go. That worked. And one more. And that one is lined up. Okay, let me just hand snug these. Okay. Good. Okay, that looks really cool. I like the look of that. So from a distance, like that looks really cool. I love the end of that. And it looks really nice with the red tracks. Okay, so we'll do the same on this side. 4 more of these little guys. We'll get these on and then we'll do a draw. Okay, what do you say? Then we'll do a draw, then we'll just go until 7 o'clock and see what we can get done. But I'd like to, what I'm going to do first, before I finish, is I'm going to wire up both motors at the same time and spin this thing. Give it a spin. Okay, let's line the holes up. There and there. About there. And the screw fell. I'm not even going to attempt to find that. Not even going to attempt to find it. We'll just get this one started. Then we'll find the hole. We'll do it that way. There we go. Okay. And this one. Okay. Hey, Klondike. Okay, and then this one. See if we can line this up again, if this works. Oh, missed the hole. Come on. You should be lined up nice and evenly. Oh, I see. Okay, so you're not quite in perfect alignment, are you? But that's okay, that we can make it work. This one's good. That one's good. And one more screw here. Let's just dump this whole bag out here now. There we go. And I think this one I had to angle a little bit. There we go. Got that one to work. Let's snug these up. Dum, 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 like that. And like, there we go. That's really cool. Look at that. So we have that side and that side. So now I want to fit one of these. So we have these new fenders. So now we have headlights. So these fenders are going to take headlights. So the front of these things, which you can see right here, there's some headlights that go in there. And then we have tubes is where the LED wires are going to run. Okay. So obviously this is going to be the front. And because the wires are going to run through here, so this is going to be this side for sure. And this is going to be this side, and this is kind of what it'll look like from the top. Here, let me zoom that out a little bit. That will look really cool with some little red fenders to cover the tracks. I like that. But we need to wire the LEDs up first. So let's do a draw. I know we didn't get a ton done tonight, but we got a good start on it. Trust me, when it comes to the wiring and the electronics, you're going to be bored stiff because it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. But we'll get her done as well. But I just love the way that looks so far. Look at that. And then we're going to have, just imagine, we're going to have that. Then we're going to have a nice gray body on it. Look how nice that looks with that color combination. Okay. And then we're going to have the nice the table. This is kind of the driver's seat that sort of sits in like that. Okay. Like that. And then we have the front bumper, which looks like that, which is going to go on there like that. It's going to look very cool. I'm super excited. And then the can holders. Yeah, I can't forget the can holders. And we have the can lifters that go in the back like that. So I love this color combination. Cool. And I love the fact that I don't have to paint anything. There we go. Can't get the link to work, Brent Ferguson. It should work. Did you test cans in it? No, I didn't. But they should work because it's the same. It's the same one as we did before. So here's a can. Where's my lid? Where's my DeWitt lid? I had it out here. I really did. Hang on. There it is. And there's the DeWitt-mobile lid. So if we throw a can in here, can fits perfectly, and the lid will fit perfectly on top of that. So there's an indent on this lid because that's for the US/Canadian cans. I guess over in Europe, they're a little different. They're shorter because there's no cutout on the lid for the European one. But that kind of goes on there like that, and then that just lifts up, and then the little nudger thing on the bottom here is going to go, whoosh. Well, my finger's too small, but it's going to lift the can up like that. Yeah. And it's strong enough because they're the big servos, and it's strong enough to lift a full can. So usually you would see an empty can in the demo, but it does lift a full can. So can it fit a Colt 45 can? I don't know. I don't drink beer, so I'm not sure. Is a Colt 45 can the standard size can? Just keep spinning your browser. You shouldn't have to log in for the link. That's why you're able to enter more than once, which you're not supposed to do. But since you are here, Brent Ferguson, if you're here, which you are, and you can't log in, I will add your name to the wheel after I import all the names, since you're here, if you're having trouble logging in. So don't worry, you'll get added. You're a regular, and I know that. So, okie doke. Let's go. Let's do a draw. Let's give some stuff away. So, if you haven't entered, I'm going to give you 30 seconds, and that's plenty of time. 30 seconds after I stop talking. Link is at the top of the chat. Click the link. You don't have to log into your Google account or anything like that. Click the link, you leave your YouTube name and an email, and that's all I need. And then we're going to do a draw. I'm going to close the draw in about 30 seconds from now. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, am I going to get demonetized for humming that tune on my stream? I don't know, but it's been almost 30 seconds. Bet your kids would have as well. Awesome. Thanks, Jerry. Okay, let's go ahead. Oh, you mean Jeopardy's a great show? I thought you meant this was a great show. Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. I'm going to go close that now. And you have until I find my way there. And then we're going to close it. Here we go. Jerry says, yes, Jeopardy. I get it. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this and say, boom. If you've missed it, you've missed it. I apologize, but you had lots of time. Doop. And we're going to copy all the responses. Let's download the spreadsheet. Spreadsheet's downloaded. There it is. Open the spreadsheet. I'm going to check for duplicates. You better hope you haven't duplicated an entry, because by golly, I don't take that too easily. And we do the data sort. We sort the data. We sort it by column B and go OK. Let's see if there's any duplicate entries. And I'll also check and see if, let's just see here. Double check this. I'm going to just go 1 second. I'm going to pop in here. In here. Oh, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. There we go. And let's see if Brent Ferguson got in there. Where'd the spreadsheet go? Why did I minimize you? That's not what I want. I want the Excel spreadsheet. There we are. And it doesn't look like you got in there, Brent, so that's fine. I will add you. I know you're here, and I want it to be fair. And it's nobody's fault that you're having issues. It's definitely not your fault, so we will add you. Don't worry. Okay. No double entries. Good job, everybody. Good job. Okay, let's go ahead and copy everything here. And copy. Minimize. And I'm going to open stream back up. There we are. Let's go ahead and
the Polymaker giveaway.
Go into the Polymaker.
All the answered names. The Polymaker giveaway. All the answered names get to play. Count it down, shout it out. Don't be late. Time for the Polymaker giveaway.
Okay, and we're going to go ahead. We're just going to pick a random spot here, and we're just going to put your name in here, Brent. Brent F. I'm just going to put Brent F in there because I'm not going to bother. And your YouTube name, we know who you are. Okay, so they're there. We'll shuffle you in amongst everything like that. Now we're going to run over for a second to the giveaway dice. We need to go to the giveaway dice. First roll of the giveaway dice is the number of mix-ups we do. Second roll of the giveaway dice is how many seconds we spin the wheel for. So let's go. We're going to roll the dice. Ready, set, go. This is for how many times we mix the wheel up. 25 times to mix the wheel. 25, and we spin the wheel for how many seconds? 27 seconds. Okay, so 25 and 27 it is. Let's go back to the giveaway.
The Polymaker giveaway. All the answered names get to play. Count it down, shout it out. Don't be late. Time for the Polymaker giveaway.
Spin. There we go. And shuffle 25 times. Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're going to spin. Good luck, everybody. Insert circus music here. You know, Brent, if you win, people are going to scream fix. I don't care, because it was legitimate. Everything's transparent. Here we go. And the winner of Polymaker tonight is Drum roll. Looks like it's Cyber Bob. Cyber Bob. Congratulations, Cyber Bob. Yay! Are you in the chat, Cyber Bob? Say something. They will say that either way, I know. Cyber Bob. But there you are, Cyber Bob. You say, crap, I put a typo in my name. But you still won, Cyber Bob. Congratulations. I am going to get you your prize. Just give me 1 second here. Let me open the email here. Let me look at my, there we are here. Scroll up, scroll up. Why didn't it come in? Am I in the right account inbox? There we go. There we go. Okay, I thought I had lost the code because I had the code already. Okay, so give me 1 second. I've got to copy that. And we've got to go to that email I made up. Give me uno momento. There we go. And there's the code. And I got to find your email on the spreadsheet, which I will right here. There we go. And I'm going to go here, select it all, copy, close this. Don't need to save it. We're going to paste your email in here. It's play-by-play, what the heck. And we are going to go send. There you go. There you go. I just lost my window. There we are. Cyber Bob, it's on its way to you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Now that will be everyone's go-to. Oh, to make a typo. A typo for the win. That's kind of funny. Everybody will make a typo thinking they're going to win. There you go. Congratulations, Cyber Bob. You should have that email any second now. Any second. So I'm going to go ahead real quick here. I'm going to strip these wires. I'm going to hook them up together, and I'm going to see if both motors run together just as fast as they did independently, which they should. So let's bring you under here. Let's strip you. And then we will just see what time we have left and what else we want to do. Maybe I'll start putting something else together here. Maybe I'll try taking the support out of that droid body. Maybe this, maybe that, maybe everything. Oh, 2 people just left, only 40 now. Oh, come on, just because you don't win doesn't mean you have to leave the stream. Come on, stay. Stay and have some fun with us, people. One of these days I'm going to do a second draw after the first draw. Second spin after the first spin, and I'm going to say, if you left, too bad. I'm going to do that one of these days for sure. Wah, wah, wah. Baby, don't go. Don't forget to put on a droid lift. Yes, no. I did that once before, Jerry, where poof, right off the end of the table. Because it's unpredictable right now which direction this will roll in. So let's see if I take my negative clip and then let's twist my positives together and let's hook up the positive. I didn't turn the power supply on yet. And let's put it on a lift. Let's get something a little sturdy, like a. This guy should be good. I put this on here like that. There we go. That should be good. Let's see how these things turn. Power, Captain. And we're going to hold this a little bit because these are going to spin fast. Ready? Oh yeah, they are. That is fast. Here, look at this from above. That is fast. Ready? Watch these things go. And you can hear them. Oh, and they're going opposite directions. Weird. So it would just go in fast circles. Now, the fact they're going in opposite directions is not a big deal because number one, I can wire it up to the speed controller, however, but number two, I can also fix that in the remote controller. Wow. Okay, that is going to be one stinking fast drink droid. I mean, it's going to serve drinks like that. Man, that is super fast compared to the other one. Oh, thought you started a lawnmower. Zoom, zoom. Sand your heels on that. Actually, that's not a bad. There's a nice homemade belt sander. Look at that, right? Homemade belt sander. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay, oh, let's get. He's heavy already, and that's just the base. Okay. So just out of curiosity, Mr. Badley, what are the next steps after this? Now that we got this done, what are you suggesting we do next? Oh, now you're suggesting we build the body. So the next step is going to be putting the can lifter in. But I think I got to do some electronics first. So basically what we're going to be doing is the body with the chair. So the chair, which consists of this part. Let's get this out of here. And then, yeah, we don't need any of these right now. I may have to do some wiring before we go too far, but this is going to hold on to here. This will glue onto here like this. This part. So this is a new front bumper. So that front bumper is going to glue onto the front like this. Now it's got some alignment pins, which I'm probably just going to use. I could probably use even some grub screws for alignment because it's a little too thick for filament, too big for an M3. But I bet if I used a grub screw or something like that, I could use as alignment pins just to glue that, or I could just glue that in place as it is like that. Because really, we're not screwing anything in. It's just going to be held with glue. But we do have the pins to make sure we get perfect alignment, which might be good if I use an activator and an adhesive at the same time so I don't screw it up. Because I wouldn't mind using the activator on this. So hopefully not carbonated drinks over a bumpy gravel road. That's true. Let's have a quick peek and see if I can't get these supports out. So remember, the whole support base, because I use support material, is no problem. That whole base is lifting no problem. I just have to break it off like that and break it out of here. And you guys can keep watching. We're losing viewers like flies, but that's all right. Let me grab some needle nose. And I just got to be careful that I don't want to break these. So let's just see what I can do here. If I can just snap it in half somehow. There we go. There we go. It's all released from the print. It's just a matter of breaking the supports out. And honestly, I never thought of this when I did this. I never thought of, oh, these are going to be hard to get out, but it's okay. I wanted a clean print. So yeah, this will come out no problem. There we go. Let me snip off this big guy here. Supports are sharp. I mean, who hasn't cut themselves on a support material yet? It's like a scuba diver in a wetsuit. It's the old thing. You peed in your wetsuit or you lied about it. You've either cut yourself on support material or you're lying about it. Okay, so got it up this far. I can just get that to break there, that to break there. Here we go. Here's a big hunk. Here comes a big hunk. There we go. We got that out. I remember doing a huge one of those on a CR10 and it bridged fine. Yeah, mine didn't bridge so good. And you know what? It probably would have bridged fine now because I have a much better printer. But I just didn't even, I don't know. I just wanted to do it. I don't know. It is okay, you know. This will be cleaner than a bridge, though. Cleaner than a bridge. I just got to get this big piece out of here. It seems to be hindering things. There we go, get that off of there. Get this big guy out and we should be good. There we go. Here it comes. Come on. Come on. You're coming. There it is. There it is. Right there. Okay. And then we have the support material piece left. One piece of support material. Let's get it out of here. And look at that. That's the support material right there. Clean separation. And if you look at the base of that, that is a super clean base. Super clean. And then a layer of support material that just didn't stick worth darn. But boy, did that ever print really well. Look at that. Done. When you fart, it gets you. Little bubbles going up the back. Oh, when you fart, you're inflating, putting air in your wetsuit. Yeah, you don't want to fart in a dry suit. There we go. That looks good. This looks really nice. So now I got to decide. I don't have the head printed yet. I haven't decided which head I want to do for it yet. So there we go. That is done. That is done. Yay. So boom. So this guy goes in here. He's got a chair and a wedgie. He's got like a wedgie chair, which is right here. So this base here, this wedgie chair kind of sits in like this. Hold on a minute. So this goes onto the bottom of this, which goes on to this, sort of like, oh no, this guy goes here. No, I'm never, oh, this guy goes like this. It's been a while since I've done this. Actually, no, this guy goes like this. No. No. And then this guy kind of sits on the back of this, like that. And then the droid kind of sits in a chair like so. Like so. Anyways, whatever. Whatever. We'll figure it out. We'll get it all figured out. All I know is that this goes on there and that goes on that. So there we go. That's it. That's all. Okay, folks. Tune in again next week for the continuation of the BR-2U droid build. I'm happy with what we got done tonight. I'm happy with how things are working. I do need to make some sort of a modification, and I'm going to see if I can figure that out this week. This little guy is an add-on that wasn't on the last one, and this guy kind of sits, if you're looking at this seat, this guy kind of sits like that, but it's got to be an add-on so it doesn't, because it screws in at a point right about there, but it of course interferes with where the cans would go. So this has to be set back, so I think there's an adapter or something I got to print so this guy can be set back like that, something like that. So we're going to figure that out. We're going to try and figure that out this week and print whatever we need to make that adapter kind of thing happen. So there we go. That's that. Everybody enjoy tonight? Thank you if you did, and thank you for being here. You guys are super awesome. So show us the different heads and do a poll. I will. We'll do that next week. I won't be ready to put the head on for a while, but we'll do the head. Maybe we'll do that next week, and you can do a poll on the heads. Well, do I have? Hey, hang on a sec. Let me see if I can find the heads real quick. No, I've got to go eat. I'm running out of time. I'll get a file together. I'll put like a little slideshow together of the different heads, and you guys can tell me which head you think would look great with this. The body it's a standard body, regardless. So the body stays the same. We can just switch out the heads. I can even print more than one head because I can switch heads out. Like there's a pumpkin head that I definitely want to do for Halloween. I would love to have the droid out front delivering Halloween candy. That'd be kind of cool. So yeah. Okay. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. And congratulations, Cyber Bob, on winning Polymaker. Polymaker, thank you so much for being a partner to the channel and let me give away filament all the time. Thank you for the filament for building this droid for the portions of Polymaker filament I'm using. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And we'll see you guys all next week. Everybody have a great week. And come back next week. We're going to continue building this guy. So I may do a few things off live stream to save some time, but you know, for the most part, you guys are going to be witness to everything. So thanks so much, guys. We'll talk to you later. Have a great week. Bye for now.